Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Chat About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Now, were you all distracted by the good weather at the weekend? Or did you watch Doctor Who, Space Babies, and The Devil's Called, which I'll be talking about in another video? Well, I know what I was doing at the weekend. I was away. So I didn't see it before the Eurovision Song Contest, and I unfortunately missed half of the Eurovision Song Contest as well on top of that. However, I did watch Space Babies when I was traveling back on the coach on Sunday, and safe to say, I don't think I actually missed very much. Now, disclaimer here, if you actually like this new series of Doctor Who, that's absolutely fine. You are allowed to like it. And myself, as a classic viewer, a new Who viewer, and the viewer of this current series, I'm also allowed to either like it or critique it and say that it's bad when I feel like I need to say that I thought it was bad, and not be told to go and touch grass and that I'm not a true fan of the show because the show is about regeneration, which I might just add, Shooty Gatwa, that is a plot device that is not actually the main part of the show. It's just a clever plot device that even Pat Troughton thought was pretty bad. So, there you have it. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about Space Babies. Did any of you play a drinking game? Because I feel like they said Space Babies way too much. We got it. This episode was about babies in space. You don't need to keep saying it. We get it. We get it. Now, I think overall, there were some good points about this episode, just small points like the crossing over of the timeline. I really liked that actually. And scanning Ruby's data at the end, that was very much a shout out to the past, even though they say they're not focusing on the past, which they are. It was on the TARDIS War. I really liked that. I like the throwback to that. And I also liked the brief moment where the Doctor was in jeopardy. However, it was all too brief because they resolved the whole entire situation very quickly. Oh, and I also like the fact that they take the sonic screwdriver almost out of the equation, but I hated the fact that it was resolving the issues on the ship rather than the Doctor fixing it himself. And I think the sonic screwdriver should just go because it is a useless plot device, in my opinion, that has become overused and overkilled. That's what I think. Overall, the Disney input is very much clear that it was very cinematic. I had a very Star Wars-esque type of feeling to it. The visual effects were much better than Wild Blue Yonder. I thought Wild Blue Yonder was very much vomit-inducing with the motion of the CGI. And, if you like Wild Blue Yonder, though, and the CGI behind that, that's fine. You are allowed to like it. Remember that. I thought the boogeyman, whichever you want to call it, was a good utilization of practical effects because, to be honest with you, that's very easy to do. It was a snotball. The baby's buggies and how they got around, that was fine. It's pretty bog standard because how else are they going to get around? However, I thought that they could have attacked the mouth movement on the babies a little bit better. I thought that was really shoddy. It was like a bad version of Look Who's Talking. I actually felt like instead of having the babies voiced over, like in Look Who's Talking, it would have been much better, perhaps, because the Doctor understands baby talk. Have the Doctor actually translate the goo goo gaga from the babies to Ruby. I think that would have been a lot better. Now, Disney have invested more money into the production of Doctor Who. So this means we can get something throwaway that was purposely done, in my opinion, for the trailer. And this was showing what happens when you step on a butterfly. And for the sake of like a minute, 2 minutes, I would say that this was a poor utilization of this money, and it was, like I said, just done for the trailer. You could have got an entire episode out of this of how the Doctor was going to save Ruby in this circumstance and reset her timeline. But then again, you probably couldn't do that because they had already done that in the Church on Ruby Road. So it would have been same old, same old. You couldn't have really done that back to back, I guess. Now, overall, I thought the script was one of the weakest scripts I have ever seen for Doctor Who. And that's saying something because in classic, there were very weak scripts towards its end of its run and things like that. And the Jodie scripts were not great. So this is really poor writing from Russell T Davies. I felt like it was played more for laughs than anything else. And unfortunately, with that, because the amount of laughs that this episode was actually played for, it made the serious moments in it not serious enough. And they have gone and they have addressed abortion and refugees. However, I didn't like the way that it was addressed. These are two very controversial issues going on at the moment. The abortion, obviously, in the US, and here in the UK, it is very well known at the moment that we have a problem with refugees. And it was, we are telling you about this and you are going to listen. We're not going to actually mold it into the story and make it work seamlessly. We're going to just put it in, and it is an off the cuff throwaway remark that actually overall adds absolutely nothing to the plot, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. If you disagree with that, comment below. You're fine to disagree with it, and I will be happy to read your comments. I also didn't actually appreciate the doctor being mean to the babies. That's actually a small thing. I know that he's an alien, and you can write it off that it is his alien, and the fact that he doesn't understand that babies are babies, and this is his whole concept of how literal they would take something like that. Now let's go back to New Who, when we were introduced to Rose. There are so many copycat things going on right now. There was running around the TARDIS in the church on Ruby Road. Apparently that was done for the first time. No, he did it with Rose. And then in this episode, he's zapping her phone, telling her to call her mum, and she's calling her mum thousands of years ago. There's also this looking out over the universe and things like that. It's just that don't do it. Create something new. I would rather see something new than the same stuff being repeated. But I feel like if we're getting this, then we're going to be getting it over the course of the series. Let's talk about the acting. So I'm an actress, so I won't say if an actor is bad or they're one-dimensional. I will critique them, and I'll try to critique them as fairly as I can. So overall, the acting was fine. We're going to talk about Millie first. So I think Millie was actually better than the script that she was given. She played it out absolutely fine. I think she could have done with a bit more wonderment rather than inquisitiveness. And I think part of that is due to the writing and some acting choices going on there. I think, though, also that Russell, from what I can gather, likes things to be done the way he's written it. He's very protective over his scripts. So it's also possible that Millie is going by what's in the script, and the director will obviously have to go by that as well. But she played it well. And overall, in general, she was absolutely fine. Now, Shooty, I think, was, in my opinion, better than his Christmas outing. That's just my opinion. However, I think that he is a bit nervous, and I don't think he knows what he wants to do with the Doctor as it stands as of yet. Um, and there is one thing I do prefer is the slowing down of the speaking. I do prefer that. That works so much more in his favor. However, does that make him the Doctor at the moment? I don't know. I can't answer that for me personally at this present moment in time. And I think actually, I know they don't talk about past Doctors, but I think choosing a Doctor to be inspired by will actually help his portrayal, because you will look at that Doctor and you'll be like, right, this is not what I'm doing. I'm going to take that quirk and I'm going to take that quirk. I'm going to try and mold it into something for myself to take going forward. And I think that's what he will, I hope that he will try and do that. But I don't think that's going to happen given what they've actually said. And I think also he needs to choose a facet, a trait, a quirk, preferably that's not going to be picking on people, bullying people, making a joke out of the situation. Because to be honest with you, in this present moment in time, that's all I've seen so far with Space Babies and Shooty's version of the Doctor. I don't know, what do you think? I'm still reserving my judgment on Ncuti's portrayal of the Doctor, but so far from what I've seen, it's middling. Now the relationship with these 2 at the moment, obviously it's still brand new, so they're still getting to know each other at this stage in this episode. So that's the impression that I got, and that's absolutely fine. We'll see if that progresses. It may do, it may not do. So overall, I think Ncuti needs to actually make a decision as to what he's going to do with the Doctor and commit to it and stick to it. So I wasn't really engaged all the way throughout the episode. It was pretty flat. It was pretty mundane. Played too much for laughs more than anything. And whilst there were very few good points, there for me personally, there were mostly bad points. And I would like to ask a question that I can't really answer for myself anymore because I don't know what's going on with Doctor Who. This particular episode to me didn't feel very family orientated at all. It really didn't. It just didn't feel like a family show. Who are they trying to appeal to? What are they trying to do? What is going on? I thought this episode overall was a 2 out of 10. When I was on the Sense Sphere, I gave it a little bit higher, but now I've sat back and I've actually thought about it a bit more. It is lower than that. It was atrocious, to be quite frank. I didn't enjoy it. Let me know what you think about this episode. Chat about it, don't shout about it, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.